Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Top Cut. This is actually the second episode of the new season, and go lo and behold, we have our very first regionals already. Obviously, we stated how there's now 3 regionals for the season, and yeah, it's time to get started. I am Josue Crims Rojano, and with me are Kyle Pooka Sukovic, Michael Pramawat, Ben Potter, and Drew Holton.
Woo!
Guys, you all four are going to be going to regionals, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys all start driving tomorrow, or are you guys going to be maybe doing the Saturday trek?
I'm going down tomorrow. So is Ben. He's coming.
I'm going to
with me.
assume the rest of the Pokemon community is going to be doing the same thing. Everybody's getting really excited. Everybody's starting to do their travel preparations, making sure. I hope everybody has their hotel rooms booked already.
Thanks
yeah,
for
this is
letting
just
us answer.
Yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that everybody's getting really excited again. This is the first major tournament for the new season, and obviously the 120 points that first place is going to be getting. I believe there's going to be 5 tournaments for North America, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so there's going to be 5 people that get 120 points out of this this tournament, which is more than Pram actually started the season with. So it's not a bad deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very important that everybody gets prepared, and hopefully we can help you guys do a little bit of preparation along the way. So, excuse me. This entire episode is going to be dedicated to answering whatever questions you guys might have about the format, maybe matchups, travel preparation, whatever you guys actually have in mind. Go ahead and ask us on our Facebook page, and that's what we're going to be doing for the show, just answering your guys' questions. So hopefully everything goes well with that. And I guess now I do have a question for you guys. The first one was rhetorical, Kyle. The question is, do you feel prepared? Kyle.
I'm answering this one?
Yes.
No. Usually regionals is like the one tournament I'm actually prepared for because these are the tournaments where you've already played the format already. Like, before it used to be states and regionals were the same. Last year, Battle Roads regionals are the same, and states and regionals were the same too. And cities and regionals are going to be the same too. So these are always the ones you feel most prepared for because you've already had a chance to play out the format. It's already developed a little bit. And yeah, I think I'm as prepared as I could be. Granted, that's not very much, but I mean, I feel comfortable going into the event. I know what's going to be ahead of me, and whatever, just going to go play.
Now, historically, you haven't done too shabby at regionals. Matter of fact, last year I believe you actually won a regionals, correct?
That is correct.
All right. You have 3 shots at it this year. I mean, obviously, everybody's going to be asking, do you feel like you can do it again, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? But, I mean, the truth is, do you feel like you're better prepared than you were last year? Maybe do you feel like you might have a pretty good shot coming into this year?
I think... I don't know how much preparation's even going to matter because the regionals are just, in general, going to be a lot tougher. You have just... They're split into 3 weekends, so you have more attendance. You'll have better players traveling to your events. For example, my tournament's going to have Drew, it's going to have Jason Kozinski, it's going to have Tom Dozel, Ross Coffin, Jay Hornung. The list of world's competitors and incredible players just goes on and on and on. And it's going to be an incredibly hard tournament to win. And then last year we just had, I think the top 4 players were pretty much all kind of newer players. So there's all sorts of new players as well that are good in the area. And I don't think you can really go into these tournaments expecting to win, but you can always just try your best.
All right. So, Drew, you're going to be going to the regionals with Kyle. Historically, well, by that I mean in the last couple of years, you haven't been very well prepared for these few tournaments. Has that changed this year? Have you actually dedicated yourself a little bit more this season?
Well, actually, it was just last year. I was like 14-0 in Swiss, 2 out of 3 years at regionals.
All right.
Last year, the train fell off the tracks, okay?
That's what happens when you can't play Luxury, man.
Yeah. I'm going to count on Kyle to prepare me tomorrow night.
So by that you
we'll
mean
see what
I'm not
happens.
prepared.
You're done.
I've been playing a little bit on PTCGO to kind of get into the flow of the game, not make stupid mistakes, mental
Drew,
errors.
tell us what deck you've been using.
I built this pretty cool, I can't even say the card,
Excadrill?
Excadrill. He does big uppercut. I like it, man. He does this big uppercut thing. Everyone like fighting weak stuff. But I'll probably end up with Dark Guy.
Have you been getting hooligans back with it?
I got it.
Oh, man, it's like 11-0.
Have you been going hooligans and then getting it back right away with Excadrill?
There's no room for hooligans. It's all business. All business.
What kind of a deck do you think he's playing? He's only playing competitive cards, all right? Drew, I guess that kind of answers the question where, again, you're coming into this tournament a little bit unprepared. Obviously, in years past, this used to be enough. Like, but obviously, starting last year, your results unfortunately did not reflect. Your results unfortunately reflected your preparation. Do you feel like this is something that you're going to have to change in the coming months?
Do you not know he can turn his microphone off?
Or go into the hallway?
What?
Let's just take a minute.
Let's just all listen into this conversation. Come on.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
It's not going to be as good as the one he had in Florida when he was a little inebriated.
He's getting there tonight. All right, sorry about that. Drew, question still remains the same. Preparation's been a factor last year. Do you feel like it might be a factor this year? Or are you going to try to change that for maybe obviously not this regionals, but coming months?
I'm not sure how much preparation would help me. Obviously, it helps. I get pretty rusty when I don't practice, but I feel like the format has been getting negative reviews so far, so I don't feel too bad about not practicing. It seems like there's a lot of like dead hands, stuff like that, where the decks dictate play more than player skill itself, probably. So that might actually play into my hand a little bit. I'm a little unprepared. People have been getting bad hands. That might help me out a bit, so I'm looking forward to it.
Opponents haven't broken the format. Excadrill, you're going to come firing on all cylinders.
If
So, Mr. Potter.
Excadrill.
Mr. Potter, I guess you're next.
Alright, sorry about that. My mom called me.
Hey, you know there's a feature on Skype where you can mute your microphone?
I wanted to share my lovely mother with everybody.
Well, we can only hear you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You understand. Anyways, no, I don't think I'm very prepared at all. I haven't done like any testing whatsoever. I still think I'm gonna do good though. I think I'm gonna make top cut, and I actually think I could go pretty deep, and I could probably win this thing. But might be tough. I need to play a deck that's simple. I need to play a deck that's gonna be able to take prizes without much like toughness with getting set up or whatever. So I'm feeling the Dark Rai. Dark Rai's got its thing going, dark patches, and I think if I just play my game, don't worry about my opponents doing, I can win. I can win some games.
All right. You're going to be traveling with Pram a lot on Friday, correct? So tomorrow?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You and him are going to be going. Have you guys prepared together for this tournament? Have you guys maybe created like a little testing team like you did in years past?
Normally we do, but I wasn't able to come due to financial restraints.
And so,
but Mike did some testing, so.
Yep.
All right. So you're just going to piggyback on Pram's play testing. It
It's
works.
basically
I
our
do it all the
Drew
time.
in this situation.
It's all right. Last time I did that with Pram, I ended up using Steelix, I believe.
Ooh, dude, you don't understand, man. Like, matchup
Never
wise,
again, Pram.
that deck was
Never
like
again.
nuts good.
This is the
never
second
again.
best deck. We all know Dialga was better.
Well, yeah, like, but no one we didn't take into account Magnezone. That's whatever though.
I still should have beaten it.
Gengar.
Like, I just goofed a little bit.
All right. Anyways, so how did you do at regionals last year? At your best regionals performance?
Who, me?
Yes.
Last year was not so great. At the Virginia regionals I went to in the fall, I lost my first game, kind of in a jig game. He just drew better, I think. And then the second game, I was like so frustrated from losing the first game that I didn't even set any prizes. And then, like, without even trying to, like, ask my opponent if I could just set prizes, I just said, you know what, I just scoop. So I just, like, gave up the win.
All right. Well, actually, that leads me to a better question.
Wait.
Historically, I love using that word. I've been using it a lot today.
Wait, time out. I want to tell the story here. Game 3, I still have a chance here. I still have a chance to do well. Game 3, I'm playing against the Gengar Prime, and I'm playing a Mega Magnezone. Oh my goodness. He goes Spirit Tomb, Heart of the Darkness, 2 energies, turn 2, gets rid of 2 Megas, and the other one's prized, so I just run out of energy. And then I play the best 4 games of my life after that, and end up 4-3. So, you know, it's pretty good. And then Philadelphia Regionals, I just went like 1-4 and dropped. I don't want to talk about that.
All right. So that does lead me to a question where you've been known to kind of lose your temper. You're obviously a great player, and people, you know, will not disagree there. Your 9-0 Nationals performance, for example, and whatnot. But you kind of get tilted, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
National performance, yes, of course. This is great.
Is that wrong?
Keep going.
Yeah, definitely wrong.
Wait, oh man, I was wrong.
No.
You interviewed this guy.
I thought he was 9-0.
He was
in the
5-0.
5-0, oh yeah. 5-0, 9-0.
In the
the
first
same thing.
both nationals I've been to, I'm 10-0. So.
All right. Well, either way, the point is, yeah, you've been known to go on tilt. You've been known to kind of let your emotions get the best of you. And out of the group, out of the 5 of us here, you're actually the one who's most prone to having that happen to you. And for the most part, the rest of us have learned to kind of like control our emotions and not let that get the best of us. But that still hasn't hit you. Obviously, you're a newer player, so that plays a large part. But do you feel like you're getting a better hang of it? Do you not feel like it's a problem at all?
Sometimes, like right now, I don't think it's a problem at all. I think maybe getting like mad at the person I'm playing against, if I lost to them, or getting mad at somebody, it's probably wrong. But me being sad or angry after losing, maybe not angry, but me being like emotional after losing a game, I almost don't think there's a problem with that as long as I do it in the right way. You know, I think maybe it kind of like hopefully it'll drive me to do better in the future, and like just feeling the sting and really letting it hit me in my heart where my heart is gives me more hope for the future.
All right.
Add the fit hope in there.
All right, Hope. So do you feel like that's going to be changing anytime soon? Are you actually making attempts to change this?
Yeah, I've been playing Madden with my roommates, and I've been playing on a harder difficulty setting so that, you know, it like I can actually lose games to them, and it's very frustrating, but I've been able to restrain my anger towards my roommates.
All right. Let's hope this keeps up for regionals. Then I'm looking forward to seeing people's take on the new Hope. Pram, you're up.
All right. Well, unlike Kyle, I go into every event expecting to win. Just a little outlook on life, I guess. And yeah, I think I'm pretty prepared. I tested a little bit over the last weekend. Came up with some, I guess, standard results where it just kind of confirmed the format. Where, you know, Eels is good, Hydreigon is good, Darkrai variants are good. Yeah, nothing really new there. But the games themselves are actually, I find fun and I think a little bit skill intensive. So not a bad format. I kind of like it, and yeah, looking good for this weekend.
Who have you actually been playtesting games with, Graham?
Let's see. I tested with Luke, Reed, and Spencer, the Super Whooper, on the gym. Okay.
Are these guys your regular teammates? Do you guys kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and do you guys use the entire team strategy that a lot of people use now?
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of in-house testing. Generally, Ben's there, but he couldn't make it this time. But yeah, we do a lot of in-house testing where we just kind of like take a bunch of decks and we just kind of pit them against each other, see what works, see what doesn't, examine why they don't work, and see if there's anything you can do to fix it. And like rather anything reasonable, because like you don't want to go like, all right, I can do this, this, and this to fix this matchup, but now I lose against everything else. You can't really do that. So you have to like figure out if a change is reasonable for the entire format, and then if it is, and then it doesn't hurt your matchups across the board, but improves a certain matchup, then it's probably okay to go in. And then, just little things like that.
Okay. Yeah, you were actually the last person I asked right now, but I was actually asking and kind of favoriting this question for everybody, and unluckily, you were the only person that actually happened to say, yeah, I test as a team, I test with the team. Honestly, that's the best strategy that you can actually use if you're going to be testing for a competitive tournament. You want to test with people who whose skills you respect, and you want to test and try to get the best out of your results. That's how you're going to get better. That's how you're going to get better results. But the top cut apparently doesn't do it. The top cut apparently skips out on play testing as a team, and that's actually a big flaw of ours. And I would hope that a lot of people don't make that same mistake that we make, because that's Kyle's trying to say that it's not as important, I think, with his body language.
I think he's trying to chime in saying that's not exactly true, is what I read from that.
There's that, and also it can also be you play test with only your team, and that can be an even bigger problem.
Yeah.
For example, U.S. Nationals this previous year, we all just kind of played against each other, and yeah, we all know how that turned out. We all played, I don't want to say a bad deck, but it probably wasn't the best choice for the event. And
7-2. 7-2.
Congratulations.
I don't know.
But yeah, that was not our finest tournament as a group. So sometimes it helps to just play against other people. You can always bounce ideas off your teammates, but I don't think it's necessary to just test with them all the time.
Yeah.
Thanks for not listening, Crim. I can tell.
No, I was just looking for the.
No, I know that look. You were spacing out.
No, okay. This is the honest. Okay, I'm gonna give you the actual reason. I tend to mute my mic because I've been coughing a lot lately. Like I still haven't gotten over this bronchitis or whatever the heck it is. So I like just mute my mic, and I decided to look at our stream to see if there was a chat going. But you stopped before I read that you were gonna stop. So I started frantically looking for the Skype button so that I could unmute my mic. That was the look that I gave. Oh man, where's the Skype button? But anyways, I'm unmuted now, so as you can tell. So I guess I understand where you're coming from. I understand that you're saying, you know what, you don't want to keep it in-house or whatever. But, I mean, obviously you don't want to do only in-house testing. But in-house testing, provides a lot of bonuses. A lot of really good a lot of really positive things come out of this. Where, see, there's that cough again. Where you're just going to be able to get a lot more efficient. You're going to have people on the same page. You're going to be able to do, and you're all spacing out. But either way, you're going to be able to just do everything a lot faster, a lot easier, because people are going to be going towards the same goals, and everybody's going to be on the same page, and that just goes a long way, and that helps you kind of perfect lists and kind of understand the metagame a little bit better if done correctly, obviously.
You gotta understand, we're not in the same part of the country either. Yeah. The metagames do differ quite a bit in different parts, so I mean, testing with each other is not always the best option.
While true, there is still a universal metagame. Like, I'm sure that there's still going to be Darkrai Hydreigons here. I'm sure that there's still going to be Electrics, and I'm sure there's still going to be other.
You cannot tell me the California metagame is the same as the Midwest, is the same as Virginia or
I honestly
Philadelphia.
don't even look at it like that. I just look at one universal metagame and go, okay, what's the best for the war against like in the format definitively. Like I don't actually like look at the game like that.
Yeah, I'm with Pram there. With that said, I mean obviously, if, for example, California has always favored a different deck than the Midwest. That's just the way it is. California's metagame does differ a little bit, and you have to take that into account. But at the same time, you're still going to be looking at honestly pretty much the same decks. It's just going to be different varieties of which, but it still works out. Yeah,
I mean,
either way.
I feel like the Midwest is always kind of the oddball compared to all the other areas. I always feel like that most of the people in the Midwest like stick to one deck, and you can actually predict what people are going to play. There's very rarely anything wacky coming out. It's all very standard stuff. Like last year at our regionals, the autumn ones, it was pretty much just Typhlosion. We had some Neon Mega Magnezone, but I knew going into it was just going to be like a lot of Typhlosion decks, and that's all that showed up. So that's why I'm thinking my metagame's a little bit different, so I prepare a little differently. I know I'm just going to have to face like the popular decks. I'm not going to have to worry about any little like quirks that other areas might be playing. It's pretty much going to be standard stuff most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I think everyone prepares, is the point I think Crim and I are getting across.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, there are certain decks that like only people in California play. Like last year was the Troll deck, like Tornadus Terrakion one. That deck was like only in California for a long time. So if I'm playing in a Midwest tournament, I don't even have to like consider that as a threat. But if I'm playing in California, it's completely different. Like I'm gonna have to expect to play against that deck over and over. So that's kind of where I'm getting at.
I think that's like situationally true, but it's like kind of like where California is the outlier, where everyone else is like for the most part the same in that specific situation.
Yeah, and granted, yes, the troll deck was definitely a thing here. I mean, it's undeniable. But then again, it was still just a handful of players. You could count that many players with one hand, sometimes two if you really like stretched it. But for the most part, it was just a handful of players that decided to really like that deck. And yes, that does tend to happen. And geographically, you're always gonna have a little things that you can nitpick with. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's the same general principle that you're still going to be facing the main tier 1 decks. It's just the way it's going to be. So you do definitely benefit from being able to test with a group of players and figure out exactly what the quirks of the metagame are going to be. And that's really just what we're getting at right here.
Yeah, I think generally testing with a group of players pays out better or more often than just kind of testing versus everyone, or rather sporadically. I mean, you kind of like, there's a lot of times where you can kind of like latch onto an idea that no one else has, and then you kind of abuse that like concept to where you just pull out tournament wins, and then like, or everyone does well or things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Now, did you guys have anything else you guys wanted to add on about this subject before we go on to the viewer questions?
I guess I just want to add on. I mean, I've done both. I've played with just like a certain team of people, and I branched out and played against a bunch of people. I don't think one way is better than another, but I've gotten burned a couple times when I just test with like the same people over and over. You kind of create your own little metagame sometimes, where those are like the only decks you're starting to worry about because that's all the people you play with test, and you might miss some things if you aren't thinking about all sorts of other stuff. So that's why I like kind of branching out and seeing what everybody's doing.
Yeah, I think that's just a mistake between the playtesting groups that you've been playtesting with, and some of them include me, so that definitely includes me in that bunch.
Yeah,
but that's just a mistake. Huh?
Said it's your fault.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is that I'm definitely at fault in some of these, in that we don't create a gauntlet, and that's one thing that you definitely should do, is you should create a gauntlet of what you expect to face, and make sure you test against that, because I can be testing whatever deck I want to play. You can be testing whatever deck you want to play, and we can go at it 20 times. And then at that point, I start going like, oh man, that deck's really beating my butt. And at that point, I start adding a bunch of cards to be able to beat your deck, but I forget about the rest of the field. And you know what? That just happens because we don't test correctly, and that's just the gist of it. We should absolutely include a gauntlet where now you're not only facing my my random deck, but you're also facing Dark Eye Dragon. You're facing Electric. You're facing Terrakion decks, etc. That's just
so basically what you're saying is you should test like me.
Yeah, absolutely. If that's what you do, then yeah, absolutely. That's the best way to go about things. And you'll never hear me disagree with that.
You know what we don't ever do, Mike? I feel like we don't do mirror matches nearly enough.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like me
So
and I
it's
just
the longest, lamest mirror match of all time between Pram and Luke
That was one game.
at Nationals.
Are
It
you
was
talking
the
about?
longest
The
mirror match.
Vanillux.
Oh, was it the
Yeah,
New
man.
Lock one?
Oh, the Vanillux.
Vanillux.
Oh, that's because like I feel like you only need to do a couple games. Like if you like, we playtest mirror like, but we do that like at the end when we're just like, all right,
I just realized that for Worlds, I did not test mirror one game, and that is why I lost.
I know I tested mirror at Worlds.
And
I had
then I
Tom
thought back,
Bozel to help me
and I
out
thought
with that
back, and I never tested mirror like. I don't remember testing mirror like the last few times we played together.
one. Yeah.
Nobody played Darkrai Mewtwo in our testing.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hey,
And that was that deck was okay. Yeah, it was a contender.
yes. All right. So let's go on to the viewer questions. Basically, if you guys kind of maybe hopefully you guys got a glimpse of what we're talking about. Where we're starting to talk about how we play test. We're starting to talk about what we do wrong, what we do right. That's very healthy. That's really healthy to do is analyze yourselves and analyze what you're doing correctly and what you're doing incorrectly to be able to potentially give yourself a better playtesting experience. So if you guys have any questions related to that or any other questions that you guys might actually have, go ahead and ask them on our Facebook page. I'm going to actually link it right now. Let me just link it right now. And if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask them, and we'll get to as many as we can. So let's just get started. Let's go with Isaiah Middleton is going to ask the very first question.
I read this question a while ago too, so I prepared a special shirt.
All right, I just have to find the question. Any minute, I promise. I'll find it.
Find the question, all right. But you knew who it was from.
Yeah, I already read it. Okay, here we go. He says, "I have a question for you." This cough is going to kill me, man. If you answer with MVP, you're answering wrong. Life or MVP for winner of GSL Season 4 Codas. Also, do you think it's possible for someone to get an invite if they can only play in half of the city championships and beyond? That someone is me. I'm just going to assume that he's talking about not top 8ing nationals, because that would just be silly. Of course, you can do it by top 8ing nationals. So let's go ahead and start with Pram, who's actually prepared a statement for this question.
So Life will slam down the evil Terrans, and will take away that 5th GSL victory. And on to the other part. Yeah, there's a lot of mathematical ways you can do it. There's like a lot of combinations. You can pull off a city, state, regional combination to get an invite. No problem. So
Didn't he say he wasn't going to get it until after cities?
halfway through cities, I believe was
Wow.
the question. So yeah,
Okay.
you can just get like a couple cities in, and then if you do well there, you have to do well. You have to do well at states. You probably have to go to all the states if you can, and then like do well at the. I think you're in time for winter regionals and spring regionals, so do well there, and
You're going to miss one regionals.
yeah, you're gonna miss the regionals, and then you're gonna miss this one, and then you missed this season of Battle Roads, but there's another season, and then you're gonna miss looks like the first half of cities, maybe most of cities, but it's still very doable. You just have to perform a little bit better than people who've been playing all year.
All right. One more question. Record. Life and MVP. Record. Like
record?
What's the game count?
Let's see, it's a best of 7. The MVP is probably gonna get like at least 2 games. We'll go 4-2.
All right. Reasonable. Kyle, you're up.
I think we're going to see a 5-time GSL champion. MVP obviously going to win 4-3. But I think it's possible for you to qualify if you only start halfway through cities, because, I mean, you still have half of cities. You have 2 regionals. You have battle roads and states. So you basically just have less room for error, but it's perfectly possible. I mean, you just have to do well at states and regionals. That's all there is to it. And that's really all there is to getting an invite in the first place. I mean, you'll get a good chunk of points at cities and maybe some at battle roads, but you're going to have to earn most of them at states and regionals. So it just puts more emphasis on those events for you. But perfectly possible. I think I would have qualified last year if that's when I started playing. Because I only played in 2 states and 2 regionals, but I still ended up with 60 points, so it's perfectly possible.
All right, so all you got to do is beat Pooka. Got it. Potter, what about you?
I think we all know who's going to win the GSL. We got the Jimmy Johnson of StarCraft here, an MVP, and he's going to win 4-1. Decisive victories. Got some so-called cheeses in there he's going to do twice in a row and just destroy the Protoss with. Yeah, cheeses. Whatever. I don't want to hear nothing. It's MVP, baby. He's going to take it all the way. And as far as qualifying, you got to pull yourself up by bootstraps. Pull yourself up, soldier, and then you'll get an invite.
Sound like the worst military recruiter of all time. Drew, what about you?
Next question.
All right, answer the last half. Do you think he can? Do you think it's theoretically possible for him to?
It's unlikely. I think cities are probably like the easy points you can get for yourself to try and qualify. So he's just really making it a lot harder on himself. And good luck. It's gonna be tough, but I'm sure he can do it.
All right. I'm taking Drew's vote. We both say Life is going to win. Drew's really coggy, though, and he's saying 4-0. I say 4-2. It just makes sense. MVP's amazing, but come on, give me a break. This kid's
you don't understand. You're like, it's like betting on John Cena. Like, you don't do it. Like, every once in a while, sure, he'll lose, but most of the time, like 90% of the time, it's a pretty safe bet.
It's like
Life is the Goldberg.
No. Life's the CM Punk.
He lost too.
No, whoa. Life is not the CM Punk. Life is undefeated.
You're right. He's not that good.
Hey, for this example, where if MVP is John Cena, we gotta make it. So.
All right, let's move on to Pokemon. All right.
Life is the Hornswoggle. That's the midget guy, right?
Yeah.
Next question, James. He asked the top 4 decks you guys think we will see this weekend, and there's actually a few questions asked that are similar to this. Like, for example, which deck should a player expect to face in Saturday's regionals tournament? Any decks that may sneak up on people, and that's from Daniel Mopsic. So we'll kind of try and kill both of these questions at the same time, which is the top 4 decks we're going to expect to see, and then what other decks we should expect to see at the same time. And we'll start with Drew, Mr. Next question over here.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think if you take a stroll over to the Top Cuts page and you take a look at the city championship results, whatever, they're the same difference, man. Battle Road, city championships, it doesn't matter. But yeah, take a look at those. Obviously, a lot of Eel, a lot of Darkrai. I'm not sure what 3 and 4 are, but they're way down there after the Eel and the Darkrai. Perhaps you'll see some the Dragon decks, and you should definitely prepare for all the different variants of like the Darkrai decks. You got the Hydreigon, you got the Terrakion, and then you got the Eels with the Rayquaza EX, or maybe more of a Raikou type thing. So those would be the top decks, I would say. And then after that, who knows? Everything's good. Everything's fair game. You should just prepare for the wide range.
All right. Pram, do you agree?
I agree with Drew. Next.
All right, Kyle.
I agree with Drew and Pram.
Next.
All right, Potter, save us.
I think it's going to be Eels and Darkrai, Hydreigon. They're pretty big decks you're going to have to look out for. And then I think the other regionals winner is going to be one lone Darkrai Terrakion deck that takes it all away.
Will rhyme with Schmotter?
What?
With the
Is it
winner's
you?
name last rhyme with schmotter.
No, but it rhymes with Pope.
I think realistically, you have about 5 Pokemon to worry about. Darkrai, then you got Terrakion, and you got Shaman EX, because he comes in at the end. You got to worry about that. We've got Mewtwo, and
Do it to me.
let's say
do it to
Mewtwo
me.
again.
No.
Huh?
Take that back.
All right.
Raikou.
Rayquaza EX, obviously, or just regular Rayquaza, both.
How do you not worry about the greatest Pokemon of all time? All right, that's an exaggeration. How do you not worry about like
Starmie?
My boy Drill.
My boy
Sableye,
Starmie?
man?
Because it
Sableye,
doesn't attack you.
Doesn't hurt you.
it attacks you in a different way, Kyle.
I didn't say electric either.
It takes
Crim
the
is
spirit, man.
very, very for the destructive value of confusion.
Yeah.
He thinks it's gonna be huge, confusing
Actually,
your
I've won
opponent's
game.
Pokemon.
I've won games because
Oh,
of
yeah.
confusion. It's
Slap a
great.
Dark Claw on him.
You
Yeah,
literally
I
just
just
Ray
go,
is underrated.
you go confuse right and just go, come on, I need this heads, and then they go, come on, I need this heads with their attack, and you just go, yes, it's tails, I win.
Only if you're playing.
That's actually how Matt Elvis won his battle road. The guy was for sure getting a turn 2 Night Spear on him, and he goes, nope, confuse Ray, heads. And the guy's like, I don't care, I'm still going for it. Night Spear, tails, loses the game.
See?
Do you do extra damage if you have a Dark Claw?
No, it's counters.
Do
Damage counters.
yourself?
Eviolite doesn't prevent it either.
Yeah, so you just take 3 damage counters. It used to be damage. Oh man.
Well, I'm gonna say Darkrai Hydreigon, Electric, and then all of the above is obviously everything
You
else.
just
he has.
agreed. Just say next.
I'm saying it.
What's
man.
wrong with you
I'm
people?
reiterating this. I'm like reinforcing it with like steel beams and stuff. That way, making sure that these guys understand.
No,
The
no.
top 2.
I think they need to understand how the rogue decks work. I think they need to play like one game versus it, just so they understand how it works, so that like they don't go up against something rogue, or not necessarily rogue, but something tier 3 or 2 or whatever, and then go, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing. So
Here's a list of Pokemon you need to watch out for. Not necessarily super popular, but they're going to be there. There's Ho-Oh, Empoleon, Excelgor, Stunfisk, what else? What am I missing? Garbodor.
Amoonguss is good, man.
Don't even worry about that. You're going to be fine. Garbodor, Registeel, Zoroark. I guess that's pretty much all of them.
If you
Garchomp,
lose
I
to
guess.
an Amoonguss deck, please tweet at me. I'm gonna count. It's gonna be like 80 people.
Yeah. How do you not like actually count Amoonguss? Obviously, the deck isn't very good, but I
You
mean,
gotta
if
be
you're
aware
counting,
that Amoonguss exists.
I
Like,
have-
when they play down that Fungus, you gotta go, I know what that does. Not, that's not important. You can't say that.
exactly.
You gotta be
Slaughter's
ready.
right back here.
Your opponent puts down a Fungus, and you just like sign the match slip already with a W. Sign your
You
name.
start fist pumping, just like
Fungus.
I'm just,
You
like,
just like
yes!
hand it to your opponent.
I start dancing.
He puts his head down in shame and signs it.
Have you guys learned nothing from me last year? Nothing at all? I hope
Fungus
each and every one of you guys loses to
bench.
Fungus.
Yes.
I have literally never seen Ninetales Amoonguss win a game. Never. I have played
Alright,
probably
well, now we
like
just
10,
found out what's going to take you out of regionals.
10 to
Thanks a
15
lot.
games I've played against this deck on PTCGO. Never, ever won a game. It's lost to all of my bad decks. That's
Keep it going.
Me.
Come on, keep
I
going.
am me. And it
Throw
beat
in
me.
more coal in the fridge.
good. If it beats me, then I deserve it. But I've never seen that deck win a game.
Yeah, you do deserve it. You
This is like a
deserve it.
direct quote, except for you replace Amoonguss with Kling Kling, and here we go again. You're-
Look,
you're-
That deck's actually very good.
yeah, well, that's not what I thought of. Around this time of year last year, actually.
It's because you didn't
Let's
get the
be
concept.
honest.
It's okay.
Not all of our viewers are gonna be at the top tables. Somebody mathematically has got to go to those bottom tables, and they're going to be ready for this Amoonguss. Or they're going to take an Amoonguss beatdown.
When you put it like that, it's very.
I'll give you
reasonable.
one letter that beats the Amoonguss deck. I'll let you guess what the letter is.
It's a letter.
Yes. It's about in the middle of the alphabet.
Like a written letter or a...
M. N. Oh, N. Yes, I got it.
Congratulations, you got it.
There's no middle of the alphabet. There's one half and the other half. The middle is between M and N.
I said around the middle.
Yeah, I bet you
Look,
did.
guys, I won the argument.
We'll look
all
at the tape.
I won the argument. I think we can just settle it here. I win.
Because you guessed the supporter Kyle was talking about. You didn't even think of it yourself. Oh, what letter's in the middle of the alphabet? And there's a card that only has one letter. I have no idea.
Our viewers actually got it long before you guys did.
Whoa. That's just a lag talking.
No, actually,
all right,
they're
here we
the
go.
ones that are
Lagging.
at the disadvantage for lagging.
Yeah.
Next, let's just go next. Let's escape this situation and just go to the next question.
All right, the next question is from Mungo Harris. He asks, do you agree with Jason Klaczynski in saying that Sableye is the best card in the format? I would especially love Crim's opinion on this. Well, guys, since he likes my opinion the best, we'll hear you simpletons' opinions first. We'll start with the simplest one of them all, Kyle.
I think Sableye is number 2 right behind Darkrai, but a very, very, very good card.
Well said. Drew.
Well, Jason said that. I can't agree with Jason. So, it's gonna have to be Darkrai, maybe Mewtwo, maybe even Rayquaza. Sableye is far down on the list, like 10th probably.
Like right below Excadrill.
Are we talking about
Yeah.
Pokemon or cards in general?
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
I was about to be like, N, clearly.
Man.
Number 1, my boy Mewtwo.
Ooh.
Get out
Me
of
too.
here.
You sure?
He's never leaving his throne.
His buddy Shaman is gone.
It don't matter. He's still the king.
Potter, what do you think?
Come back to me.
You
You're the
are-
last one.
Come back to him, man.
All right. Come back to me.
We'll hit Potter up for the next question, apparently. All right. My belief is that I do want to say that it's the best card, but it isn't. I mean, there's too many cards that are just unbelievably broken. But Sableye is like the most fair card that's still insane, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like, Darkrai is unfair and broken and just dumb. It shouldn't exist. Mewtwo shouldn't exist. Rayquaza shouldn't exist. But then you get to the fair cards, and Sableye is actually like at the top of that list. Sableye is nuts. I can't stress it enough. The amount of options that it gives you, like, it trumps everything in the format by a long shot. It's like the only recovery card too. It's just it's an insane. Well, aside from like N and stuff, but like it's an insane card, and you'll never hear the end of it from me if I don't shut myself up. So that'll be the end of it.
Shut your mouth. Move on.
Yeah, let's go with the next question. And this one's specifically for Potter, apparently, because we're coming back to him. All right, here we go. Geo Edge. Thoughts on Stunfisk. Potter, all yours, buddy.
Best card is definitely Regigigas EX. against a wide variety of everything, Regigigas EX is the best card by itself.
Yeah,
Far
like
enough.
Rayquaza's right. Destroys Rayquaza.
It does 80 for 3, including double colorless, and it knocks out low HP Pokemon. The only problem with it has that pesky fighting weakness. you know, if we're taking metagame aside, Regigigas ES is far and away the best card in the format. It's not even close.
Really?
Because it gets hit by another EX and it just knocks it out with one shot because it took so much damage from it. So it'll knock out the low HP Pokemon, and then as it's sitting there hitting the other EXs in the face, or hitting anything it wants in the face, if it takes a big hit, it'll just knock it out right away because of the second attack.
How does it do against Mewtwo?
It beats me. Oh, yeah, we got it.
What about Rayquaza? Yes. How does it handle Your quasi.
Discarding cards from your deck doesn't seem that good to me.
All right. What are your thoughts on Stunfisk?
Stunfisk. That's probably a bad card. Are we talking about the one that it paralyzes you?
No, the one that does 20 and 20 for one fighting.
20 and 20 for one fighting.
Newest Stunfisk.
Fighting in a Colas.
Dragon Exalted?
Yes. Well, move on to someone else because he doesn't know what it does.
We'll give you some time to look it up.
We'll go with Kyle. Apparently he knows the card.
Wait, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay,
Stunfisk.
Okay. I've got this.
Stunfisk is a very good card. It's very underrated, I feel. You can knock out a Dynamo for 1 energy. You can plus power, knock out a Dino on the first turn. And Rumble is a very underrated attack. Very, very good against Darkrai in the early stages of the game. I've almost pooped my pants several times against people playing Stunfisk against me. Because turn 2, they catch out my Darkrai and Rumble for 80. And it's just dark. You can't Dark Patch to it. You can't retreat it. It gets knocked out by Stunfisk in like 3 turns, and all you have to do is sit there and let it happen. Because you're weak to fighting and you can't retreat. So, Stunfisk, very good.
Did you
so
muddy the water?
if you want to poop his pants,
It's a fish.
Fish are very good. Melodic is
It's a fish that's weak to like water. It's a fish that can't even live in the water, man.
It's a fighting fish too. Kyle, you're like singing really high praises for this card. Do you feel like it should be an auto include in any tracking deck?
Yeah, should be. I mean, I had it. I mean, I don't know how many you should actually play in a tracking deck because I feel like it's the best starter you can play in a fighting deck because the Muddy Water turn 1 is very good.
This is awkward.
Rumble,
I can't have to turn on my camera. Continue.
it works for everyone.
If I'm playing Darkrai Terrakion, would you recommend Stunfisk in the deck?
No, probably not. But like a straight Terrakion Mewtwo deck, then
a
yes.
quad Terrakion deck, something like that.
Yes. It doesn't fit in decks where you don't run a bunch of fighting energy. Because you want to do it turn 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm playing
a primarily tracking based deck, you absolutely should fit it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to decide on how many of those you actually want to play. Because it's not a very good card as the game progresses. But at the same time, you want to start with it. So it's tough to find a balance between how many you want to actually play.
He's pretty good. I have in my Excadrill deck. It's pretty much Tracky and Stunfisk show every game.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask the next question while I try to figure out how to turn my camera back on. I'm kind of silly. Let's see here. All right. Tim Lipkowski asks, what are your opinions on Garbodor? And I'm a big fan of the show. So, thanks a lot, Tim. And somebody take that away while I figure out how to use my camera.
Well, Garbodor is very good.
Just got up.
I wish the viewers could read our personal Skype chat.
He's been saying he has to go to the bathroom for like the past 15 minutes. Alright, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, Garbodor is very good. However, you can't pair it with anything. Like this one time I tried to pair it with a Golurk, and it did not work out so well. So, you have to pair it with something... you have to find the right thing to pair it with, and then once you do, it'll end up being good, and yeah. Garbodor is not bad, just not great right now. Also, it's very format dependent, metagame dependent. If people are running Tool Scrapper all over the place, then you're not going to get very far with Garbodor.
Yeah, that's actually very true. I missed some of that, so hopefully I didn't miss this part. But it really does take a lot of dedication into your deck, right? Like it's got to be a key thing that you can't forget. Not only does it require like a 1/1 slot, and for you to already be playing something like Ultra Ball, but you also have to fit in tools into your deck, and not just a few. You actually have to fit in probably, I would assume, something like 4 to realistically be able to
probably even more than that.
Yeah. So this is a lot of dedication to your deck. I don't know if you actually mentioned this or not. So Maybe I'm late to the party, but that's really the main concern that I have with the card is, in theory it's really nice, but then you start thinking about it, it's like, man, I can barely fit, these cards into my deck, let alone another 5 or 6. So it's unfortunately not really viable right now, but I can definitely see a metagame in which it would be, just not right now.
I feel like that's one of those cards that it's not going to be good immediately, but you can see it's got potential down the line to be pretty good. There's actually an article that Alan Mall posted on his blog where he runs a Darkrai Garbodor deck, where it's kind of like you try to lock them down with Garbodor and then use Crushing Hammers with Sableye and just kind of run them out of energy. It seems like a good concept. I tried it out a couple times and it was really clunky. You just, like you said, you have to run so much stuff. You have to run like Force Switch because otherwise Garbodor just gets catchered out. You have to run like 6 tools, otherwise you won't be able to get tools on it. Obviously, you have to run the Garbodor line, and by the time he was fitting in all these cards like Crushing Hammer, Enhanced Hammer, it was just, it felt like too much. You had to skimp on a lot of cards, like there's 3 Sableye, 3 Darkrai, like 2 Dark Patch, just like stuff that you really need in your deck. He was cutting down on just to add in this stuff, so it's way too tough to fit in Garbodor right now, I think.
Yeah. Funny story is I actually built a deck that it's aptly named Garbage actually, but I built this deck for Bad Deck Monday, and I was so excited. I was so ready to play this against you. I was sitting there trolling the chat, just like waiting for you to like finish your match so I could just join up and hopefully snipe you. And I was so proud of this awesome bad deck. It was Garbodor and I don't know the guy that uses the discard for tools. What's his name?
Hariyama?
You too.
No. Like discard tool and it deals 40 damage for each tool.
Grigas?
Yeah, Grigas. Yes. I almost mispronounced that one.
Yeah, don't say that the other way. It's not
I thought it
appropriate.
was Cofarius.
But yeah, like I had this deck.
Don't deny Dark Slowking.
I was so ready to play it, and yeah, I tried to snipe you, and I might have played like 10 games with it by now. Still have not played you, but I have played 10 other people, and I've had experience with Garbodor. It's really hard to get out, even when you have something like 14 tools. Like, I mean, yeah, you can get it out realistically, and especially with 14 tools, you'll be able to do it. But there's so many things that are going on, and it's just, in theory, the card is amazing, and I'm sure it'll find a home somewhere eventually. But it's not working out. And by the way, Garbage.deck did suffer 2 losses now, maybe a third. I can't remember. Yeah, even Basic Yellow got the best of it once.
Oh, that's when you know it's time to retire.
You're not going to be able to play against him if you're playing on the novice choice for opponent.
Garbage.deck sounds like his normal choice.
I'm just not for the format, right? Baby steps, okay? Baby steps. But yeah, hopefully the deck will make its Bad Deck Monday debut eventually. Kofi Grigas is waiting for you, Kyle.
Hey, Ambi Palm is waiting for you.
You take that back. Don't you dare use that against me. Jacob Harple asks, what electric variant, I'm going to assume it's electric, like the Pokemon, not variant will do best at regionals? Because obviously if we don't include, if we replaced electric with electric, then we're going to have our answer. So, what's going to do best at regionals?
I'll let you guys answer. I'll be right back.
All right.
He's going to the bathroom. I know it. It's just everyone's time to just go.
What eel variant do you think is going to do best, Potter?
One with. I think I like the Rayquaza one that like plays fire and with Rayquaza EX in it. I think that's pretty strong. Yeah, because I don't think people are going to be real happy with playing Garchomp just because like everything I hear about it is so negative. I've actually been out there and like played games with people or stuff about it. I just feel like, I mean, as long as Garchomp isn't that prevalent, like ones with Rayquaza EX and Rayquaza are probably pretty good.
Okay. Pram or Drew, do you guys disagree, or do you guys feel like there are even variants to talk about?
Rayquaza dominated 2004, and it's going to dominate again.
Drew, thoughts?
I'm playing Guard Chomp.
I think the Rayquaza version is the best, but I do like the more like electric centered one. You got your like Raikous and stuff like that. Mewtwo, perhaps.
Okay. That's fine. I'm gonna go with the Rayquaza variant as well. Rayquaza is just insane, and its best pairing is with electric, so I'm just gonna go with that. It's the safe answer. Josh Graham asked, "Do you think we'll be able to use our base set computers for the new Ace spec?" That depends. Is the Ace spec going to be actually called computer search? No, right?
Yes.
Will be?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'd be surprised if you should.
You should be able to, but you still need
Got a computer search right here, dog.
You'll be able to, but you'll need like a translation on the side, which defeats
Need a
the
reference.
Yeah, which defeats the purpose of having computer search in your deck.
I know, you can print out like the card decks entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that saves you some money, man. Do you know how many computer searches I have? Maybe
Man.
they'll actually do something.
I'll just open them up. No problem.
Is it not like a secret rare or something?
I don't know.
Well, I was just assuming that
I
they
just
would
assumed
be
all the packs I'm getting from cities, I'm just going to open one up eventually.
Well, yeah, if it's called computer search, if its name is actually going to be computer search, then yeah, I'd be surprised if you could. So,
Yeah, you
we'll
can
go
use
with
it. You just need the reference.
Okay.
Dude, you can use a Super Rod from Neo Genesis that has completely different text from the current one. Like, that card involves like flipping coins and doing all sorts of weird stuff. Nothing even close to the current Super Rod. You can still play it if you have a reference.
Much better if your name is Pram though. All right, Kyle, this next question's for you.
Totally didn't.
Pooka, can we expect to see any new decks on Bad Deck Monday utilizing cards from Dragon Ball? That's from Anthony Casmanello.
From what?
From
Well, depends on.
Dragon Volt.
Yeah.
I heard Dragon Ball. I was like, what?
That's what I heard.
I was like, where's Goku coming into this?
All right.
Let me get that Destructo disc, baby.
I actually need to get some more Dragon Ball cards because I only got two sets of them. So I don't have enough to actually make decks yet. So until I get some more codes, no. But Salamence, he's calling out to me. He's going to go well with Hooligans, I'm sure.
And if I remember correctly, trading should be coming up really soon, right?
It's the next update.
Yeah.
Which was
Should
scheduled
be really
soon, according to like the post.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my grain of salt is hoping for it to be extremely soon because I'm down to have my fourth Hydreigon already. But either way,
Would you need 4?
I want 4, man. Consistency, baby. Consistency.
Woo!
I was going to assume that's not the card you were talking about.
Michael Chen asks, will we be seeing any live streaming of regionals you guys are participating in this weekend?
Haven't heard yet. Trying. If we get the okay, if there's internet, then yes.
All right.
I'm going to try and record for sure, at the very least.
Okay.
Can you
So,
hook your webcam up to whatever you have in netbook?
And the netbook wouldn't have the power to stream.
We could ask people if they have laptops. That'd be good.
If people want to like
Alright.
chip in.
If you're going to Philadelphia regionals and you have a laptop that we can use to stream games and we're allowed to stream games and you let us use it, we'll give you a shout out on the Top Cut. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's some high quality stuff right there.
We're actually running to the end of the questions, so if you guys are not going to have any more questions, we're going to be finishing the show pretty soon. If you do have any more questions, this is your last chance to get them in, and hopefully we can answer whatever you guys might have to help you guys prepare. So let's see here. We're going to try to stream, obviously. If not, then obviously we're going to be having a lot of content for you guys in the near future. And I say we're going to try to stream as if I'm actually going to be doing anything. When in reality, all I'm going to be doing is sitting at home waiting to see if I can watch the stream. Awesome. All right. Michael Martindale asked, for anyone who missed Kyle... Oh, I guess it's a statement. For anyone who missed Kyle's status, the most amount of damage you can do in the unlimited format is 132,160. Discuss. Why? Why do we?
Uh,
Why do we
is
find
that executor, or is that like a?
It's no. I'll explain it. You get into sudden death, so both players have access to 59 of their cards.
Why is there not
Uh,
an infinite combo in Pokemon? Is what I want to know.
Huh?
No, continue.
Anyway, it's Mewtwo EX with like 58 energy attached versus a Rocket's Hitmonchan using Cross Counter with also like 58 energy attached, and the Mewtwo has like an Expert Belt and a plus power, and somehow this adds up to a bazillion damage.
Is that seriously the best we can do?
Oh, and wait, there's like a Gardevoir in play that makes the Psychic energy ×2, and also you use that Smeargle
Rocket-
to paint
Yeah,
the Rocket's Hitmonchan to a
The
Psychic
Psychic.
The
type.
Vileplume give it 4 times weakness?
Not yet.
Well, that's not yet, but yeah.
Yeah,
when
we'll
it
see.
does happen, when it is out. Oh man, that's going into this calculation.
I get
Alternatively, you can use Geodude from Fossil to use Stone Barrage and flip 5,000 or
And there we
500,000
go.
heads.
That's the infinite thing that we.
No,
No
no, no,
problem.
you can't like
No problem.
you never count those.
Yeah, I
Teeny baby, woo! We have 2 shots at it.
Sorry, I only flipped 499,999.
Alright, here we
Reflip.
go. Tails. The most I can use 0.
Sorry, I gotta reflip this.
Reflip. Teeny.
I'm
Just
going
one
in.
heads.
Oh, it should be fun. Alright,
2
more
heads.
useless knowledge from the top cut. Apparently.
3 heads.
Carlos Duran Jr. asked, "How many top
Will you
going-
stop?
I'm sorry, what was
Alright,
that?
4 heads.
Carlos Duran Jr. asked, "How many top players are going to be going to Fort Wayne this weekend?" Apparently, how many top players do we know?
I'll list off all the ones I know of, and I'll probably miss some, but that's alright. So I got Drew. I'm
Scrub.
going.
He said top players.
Yeah.
Scrub.
Come on, Kyle.
Like, he's from the top cut, so. Jason Kozinski will be there. Jay Hornung will be there. Ross Coffin, who just moved to Chicago, he'll be there. Tom Dozel.
Scrub.
Dustin Zimmerman will be there. We'll have... Who else?
Monday.
I'm missing a lot of people.
On deck, be there.
Jay Witz will be there.
Scrub.
Ajay will be there trying to not get arrested.
Mondak. Mondak going? Yeah, he's going.
Scrub.
Try Please is going.
Oh my gosh.
I can't
what
get
was
that
the
one.
Wow.
Scrub?
This list got
It's like-
very open-ended at
Are
this point.
Canada, Canadians coming down or no?
It's like the top
What?
of the worst players
Are the
list.
Canadians coming?
I
Because then
don't, no. There's one in Canada. I don't think they'll come. Maybe. Who knows? Who else? There's Mike Lesky. He top 32 to Worlds last year.
I'll be there. Too.
Probably have Carl Shu, who won the regional last year.
He did really good at nationals too, right?
Oh yeah.
Hey, don't talk to me about that. No.
Ben Potter trying to change his anger issues.
Look how
Carl Shu
red his
beating at
face got. It's so good.
There's a lot of people I'm forgetting, but yeah, there'll be a ton of people. Just having Jason, Tom, Ross, and Jay there alone is like a million top 4s at Worlds. So that's pretty ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a very formidable list. Like at that point, you're starting to get into like, honestly, legendary numbers. This is kind of a list that you would expect to see at nationals, let alone a regionals. So.
Oh, we'll have people from St. Louis too. So we'll have like Britt, Colin Mall, John Roberts will probably be there. All sorts.
Anthony East.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go to that tournament.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually that actually sounds really cool and really fun. So I know that maybe if you're playing and you're trying to win, it doesn't sound as cool as it does to me as an outsider. But I think that it'll create a lot of really exciting matches, and hopefully you do get to record it or stream it ideally, because I'd be excited to watch some of these. I think that's the regionals to beat. That's it's gonna be interesting to see who comes out of that one, and what decks come out of that one really. So let's see. Next question. All right, Tasha Carlucci. Is there an increasing amount of female competitors at the TCG tournaments that you have noticed? I have a lot to say about this, so if you guys want to start it off, I'll definitely end it with a.
Not that I've noticed.
Might have increased
Boys.
by like 2.
You know what? I always notice when the ladies are there.
You guys are ridiculous. All right, I wish I could actually ask this question. Pram, anything to add?
There you got it.
I have
Mike
actually
knows
seen
what
it.
I'm talking about. Mike knows.
I've actually seen an increase in the southwest area. Granted, it's obviously still a very, very low number. Like it's probably no higher than like 20% of the players are female.
20%? Jeez.
Yeah. California does have California and Arizona does have a higher female percentage than the rest of the country, which is sad if it's only 20%. Like that's
You know
not
what?
cool.
You know what I don't see? It's like upper level high school and college girls at Pokemon tournaments. They don't show up. Just saying.
Yeah.
you're
all right.
And you're
You
in
know what?
college and you're a girl.
One thing I do want to mention though is that Pokemon's actually pretty good about this. A lot better about this than other card games are. Without mentioning any other games. But there's still some sort of like a barrier that people can't get through. I think it's because honestly, as gamers, we're not expecting to see females there, so gamers act a little bit different around these people. But it does make them very uncomfortable. And I've been approached by several females about this, so this is why I'm actually stating this.
Yeah, sure you have. Sure you have.
About
Yeah,
this,
sure you have.
not in general. All right, in general, I'm like unapproachable, but
Agreed.
for some as a Crim persona, I am approachable, so we'll go with that. But these people tend to have a concern, which is
These
they
people?
feel like they're not being let into. Man, will you guys not let me say something like actually serious? You guys are ridiculous people. No, yeah, they just they have a big concern about breaking through into this community, and they feel like the reason that women aren't breaking through, not only into the Pokemon community again, but other communities as well, is because they're not being accepted as just other players. They're being accepted as a different type of player, and it's not fair to them. And like I said, Pokemon isn't really all that bad about this, but I have noticed it myself. And people just need to treat women a little bit more with respect when it comes to this stuff. And I can guarantee you that we would absolutely see an increase in attendance. SoCal, for the most part, is very respectful. The people that I have seen there have always been very kind to these people, and they're very welcoming. And you can tell because these females do go to like regional tournaments, and they travel for like city championship marathons and stuff like that. That's really cool. Like actually seeing people travel for this tournament that you wouldn't normally see anywhere else is really exciting to see. And I just wish we would break through that barrier because it's not a good barrier to have, obviously.
How do you mean
apparently
that
we're all
they're treated
gamers and we're all what?
How do you mean that they're treated differently? I don't understand.
Differently.
Like second class gamers or whatever.
I'll answer this. I mean, a lot of guys get a feeling that like if they lose to a girl, it's more embarrassing for some reason. I never understood this mentality. I guess it's just because, in the history of the game, for the most part, we've had mostly guys playing it, and for some reason, like video games and card games, I always just feel like it's been a male sort of activity, and now women start to come in, and I don't know if guys feel threatened or what the deal is, but it just kind of makes them feel uncomfortable for whatever reason, and so they kind of project this feeling uncomfortable with, like making fun of them or being like creepy and hitting on them or whatever the case is. I can't imagine what it would actually be like to be a girl playing a game like this. I mean, you were like, it's like one girl to like 50 guys if you show up at a tournament. So, I mean, you just kind of feel like an outsider, I would think. So, as a whole, the community needs to do a better job at accepting female players.
Yeah, that's
Crim, how do you feel being a female in Pokemon? How do you feel the people respect you or whatever?
all right. We're cutting you off, buddy. Next.
This is the problem.
Asks, energy switch or in Rayquaza electric, good or bad?
Decent.
It-
I've seen it like be decent. I think there's like better I think there's like cards you have to run it before it. But if you had like slot 61 and 62, definitely be like energy switches.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Is like, obviously in some decks, it's a necessity to fit like Darkrai decks for the most part. But Electric tends to run a lot of Pokemon, a lot of other cards that it really needs, and it needs to run Switch for the most part, which is something that Darkrai decks don't tend to have. So you kind of like don't have the room, I guess, is what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
it's like neat if you go like double Rayquaza, because then like if you only have one fire, you just did the Dragon Burst, I think it's called.
Yeah.
You can retreat if you have Skyro in play. You can retreat the Rayquaza, energy switch or rather, you Dynamotor all the lightnings first onto the bench Rayquaza, retreat, energy switch up the fire, and then do it again. So there's like moves like that you can do. And you can even do like an extra lightning attachment, so you can do even more damage.
Yeah, kill that! You kill that Darkrai, Dad. You deal that.
I feel like Energy Switch is an underrated card in Electric decks, mainly with the Rayquaza. But most of the time, like you said, it's just like your 61st card. You can't fit all that stuff. You would pretty much always rather have you want like Force Switch because you don't have Junk Arm anymore, and you need to be able to switch. You would probably even want like Sky or Bridge before you had it. Mm-hmm. You would maybe want like Tool Scrapper before it, Eviolite, Max Potion. There's so many different cards you would run before Energy Switch, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that mute button. All right. Yes, you're absolutely right.
I'm surprised you haven't like memorized its location by now. You've like looked for it like 4 times throughout the show.
If there was actual hotkeys for this, I'd be in heaven, but there isn't. So I've actually
Probably is.
helped mouth thing. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page here. Unless Drew or Ben have anything to add about this, where it's just obviously the card's amazing, the card's really good, and in some decks it's actually necessary. But Electric is not one of them, I don't think. And is Drew stoic or is he frozen? There's no way.
He's frozen.
He's frozen on a very like nice picture. Look him like every time Drew freezes, it's like very nice. It's like he's always like posing for something, and then
Prepared,
it freezes.
man. Prepared.
Yeah. He just goes through the show and like it's alternating poses. The only time you can get him is like when he's like switching over to something
I
else.
often freeze and then go do other stuff and come back and Crim's still talking, so it works out.
All right. Well, here we go, Drew. Reed A. Melton asks, "What card do you feel is the most underrated?" This is all you, Drew. You got it.
Whoa. I think you missed a question.
What'd you say, Drew?
He said you missed the question.
I think you missed the question.
No, I didn't miss anything. Ben's just sitting here like, fiddling with his fingers, waiting.
Someone can read this question out loud and we can answer it together.
Well, we'll ask it right after Drew answers the question.
Most underrated card? Is that the question?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with my boy Stunfisk. Ben was piling a lot of hate on him, but he muddies the water up, and he's been known to rumble pretty well.
He's ready to rumble.
He's ready.
All right, here's the better answer. Mewtwo. You guys have not rated him number 1. Thus, he is very underrated. Thus, he needs to be higher. Like, come on, guys. It's Mewtwo. It does infinite damage. It's part of the unlimited...
It's very finite, as we found out.
What?
It's a very finite number, as we found out, all right? It caps out at like 100,000, all right?
Okay, then. Name a Pokemon that has more HP than that. Yeah.
We'll eventually have a Whaler.
That's what I thought.
Can't knock out Mr. Mime.
With the plus power, you can.
Give me a decade.
Wait,
Give me a decade.
Because it's
With
weak.
a plus power, doing 10 more damage.
Because it's weak. No, you can't.
No, I mean the Mr. Mime from Jungle.
Ooh.
Odds and evens number?
No, the one that if it does more than 20 damage, it does nothing.
Okay. If you play Mount Moon with Latios Delta, you turn off Pokemon powers.
Or you just play Goop Gas Attack, but sure.
Ooh, even better.
All right, all right. So do you guys agree that Stunfisk is the most underrated? Except
No,
for
Mewtwo.
No,
whoever.
I do not agree.
Which statement?
All right, Ben. What do you?
Regigigas is the best underrated card. Most underrated card.
All right, Kyle. Who do you think? Just toss somebody out there.
Shaman EX.
For 3, and it doesn't take its damage because of
How
Eviolite.
is Shaman EX underrated? I think it's rated perfectly fine. Mewtwo, on the other hand, come on, guys.
Stable
You're
Eye.
just proving his point by
Actually,
saying
Stable
that.
Eye is probably the most underrated card. I would assume it is.
Stabilize, Jason Klavinsky rated it the best card in the format. And this card is underrated? Kidding me?
Yes. Yeah, it's absolutely underrated. Are you kidding me? How do you think it's not? People still haven't found out like exactly how high its power level is. right.
Well, really,
Next question.
what's its power level?
It's over 9,000!
I was gonna say that joke, you jerk. All right. Next question is from our very own Ben Potter. Excuse me with my emphysema lungs. Ben Potter asks, "What kind of deck would you recommend with Stunfisk that can compete with Tier 1 decks?"
Quad Terrakion. Next.
Kyle?
That's really where it goes well with Terrakion Mewtwo. I've seen it in some Darkrai Terrakion decks, and it's also in Empoleon.
Next.
I think it was originally in my Darkrai Terrakion deck, so I'm going to go with that deck. You've already asked the underrated question. Here we go. Anything you ask me? Asks again. Kind of a long question. Tier 1 events are held between a set release format change and a Tier 2 event. Autumn Battle Roads precede Autumn Regionals. City Championships precede Winter Regionals. And Spring Battle Roads precede Nationals Worlds. This allows the outcome of Tier 1 events to set the stage and define the metagame for the upcoming Tier 2 event before the next set release major format change. The only time Tier 1 events are not held between a set release and a Tier 2 event is before State Championship Spring Regionals. Do you think this ordering events is good for the gameplay at Tier 2 events? Would you prefer to fly blind going into a Tier 2 event immediately following a set release without playing in Tier 1 events? Or do you like the fact that Tier 1 events set the stage and define the format for the upcoming Tier 2 event? So we're going to use Kyle first, and he's going to try to put that in layman's terms.
Basically, before you have a big event, you have smaller events. So like I was getting into earlier, we have the Autumn Battle Roads before the Autumn Regionals. So it gives you like a testing ground to prepare for the big events so that you can actually define what the metagame is. As opposed to in the past where we would have, I think before Battle Roads existed, we would just have Nationals be a brand new format, or even Nationals 2011, where they're just like, hey, rotation, brand new format for the biggest event of the year, have fun. Those events are good and bad. I think it favors the better players because they are able to adapt more, but at the same time, it's more unpredictable. The tournaments are more random because you haven't figured out how to build decks or what the new archetype should be. So they both have pros and cons, but I think I prefer the having smaller tournaments beforehand.
Okay. Is there a reason?
It just makes things more defined. I mean, it's less of a crapshoot when you enter a big tournament. I mean, do you remember Nationals 2011? That was like one of the worst tournaments of all time, I think, where everyone just kind of went in and they were like, we think this is good. We've had 3 weeks to prepare. Go Magnivore. And that was the tournament, basically.
Well, I think you're right, and I'm not going to disagree with you. I do think that there's something to be said for kind of going into an unknown metagame. I don't think that a tournament such as National should be it, but I wouldn't mind seeing... Wait, do we have a regionals that has an unknown metagame this year?
Nope.
No, right?
Nope.
No. I wouldn't mind seeing a regionals like of that kind of caliber. I think regionals is the perfect one. States would be okay too, but I prefer regionals. And just to kind of, I think it gives people that brew, people that have like this innovation to them, and I think it gives them kind of like a leg up. And I don't mind seeing that at all for one tournament a year, where we get to see the people that just like being innovative, just kind of have a field day at the very first tournament where people just aren't really ready for a metagame yet. With that said, I don't think that a tournament such as National should ever be unknown like in 2011. That was terrible. I think we all are in agreement here, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I like small tournaments before the big ones for the most part.
Terrible as you.
Just because like people could still be innovative for the bigger tournaments. You can just be like, they just have to be innovative in different ways. They can't just be like, hey, my deck is really cool. You have no idea. Well, they actually still can, but they have less of a chance of doing it in a known format than a. So it rewards, like, if you're innovative, like you have to really throw everyone for a loop.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Drew, anything to add?
No, I'm good. Thanks for asking.
I know this question was a long one, and it might have been a little bit hard for people to understand. So, hopefully, we covered that. I like this question.
Woo!
Now, this is going to be a complete guess by me. Hopefully, one of you guys has an actual answer for this. But David Sikolski asks, what is the probability that you will go first with 4 first ticket in your deck? My guess, before anybody says anything, 80%, 82%.
If they don't have 4 first ticket?
If you do have 4 first ticket.
If you do and they don't.
If you do and they don't,
I think it's 70-something.
I think it's like 74%.
It has to be higher than 75, I think.
Oh, because 50% of the time you're going first anyways. And then if you have
I think if you have 4 of a card in your deck, I think you're like 60% to draw it.
No, it's because you also have a basic, so you're only drawing 6 other cards in your starting hand. And if you had 7 cards in your starting hand, like your chance of starting with one of 4 copies of a card is like 46% or something like that. So if you're only getting 6 cards, you take a little bit off of that. So 40% of 50 is like 20, so it's like 70%. Pretty sure.
Does anybody actually have the answer?
Just trying to look it up.
It's 70.05%. Boom, done.
I will call you the Rain Man from here on out if you're actually right. All right.
Hey, wait, I think that's kind of
man, dude.
Is that kind of an insult or something?
No, man, it just means you're good with numbers.
Yeah, but he's also like extremely socially awkward, and he yells when people touch him.
I'm saying it fits you well. So.
I refuse to do the math on camera because that always ends poorly.
Yeah, we see Crim do it all the time, so we're intimidated. We got 1, 2, 3.
I will go with whatever answer you guys say it is.
Well, I'm still stuck at 80%.
What is the chances you have one of a 4-copy card in your deck if you have one less card in your deck because one of them's a basic, so you're getting 6 other cards?
There's no way that it only ups your percentage by 20% if you have 4.
Well, you only draw 6 cards.
It's you only take half that percentage.
I understand your logic. I get it. I'm just saying, is it really that minimal?
About 40% to start with it and a basic if you play 4. So half the time you go first, half the time you don't. So I guess you chop that in half, so it's about 70% you go first.
Cool. Rain Man over here. All right. Hopefully,
I think you're the Rain Man, just without the smart part.
We get an exact percentage from you guys. I admit defeat, obviously, but I would like to see the exact percentage of anybody.
I don't know why you keep doing this to yourself, man. You keep trying to do math.
Do you realize that eventually I'm gonna just like throw a dart and just actually hit the.
That's one thing I've learned from watching other people and you. You don't do math on stream. So like I refuse to take part in this question. Because I know
math when you usually incorrect most of the time.
Eventually, I'll be right.
Eventually may never happen. There's a chance of it just never happening.
I'm sure if you just keep saying 0, eventually one of the answers will be 0.
It's kind of like saying B, kind of like marking off B or C.
Right. So here we go. Next question is from Christopher Rocky. How do we choose our prize cards? For example, top to bottom, bottom to top. How do you guys shuffle your deck before a game? 6 piles, 8 piles, hand shuffle.
I choose my prize cards from bottom right, and then I go bottom left, middle right, middle left, top right, top left. And
Yep.
the way I shuffle is I do a 7 pile, and then I mash it for like maybe 10 plus until I feel it's good, I guess. I don't know. I just kind of do it and go, this seems about right. Something like that.
Okay. Drew?
I do my prizes the same way Pram does. Bottom right, bottom left, middle right, same, all the way up. Usually, after a game, I will 6 pile twice, shuffling really good each time. And then before the next game, I also 6 pile twice, shuffling really well. So about 4 or 6 piles altogether.
All right. Potter or Kyle, do you guys either have a different answer at all?
Is it unsportsmanlike to just not shuffle your deck
Disconnecting
and
here.
just have your opponent shuffle it?
Well, no, you're perfectly
Like you
within-
deliberately just don't shuffle your deck, you just hand it to your opponent, and he goes, "Well, I'm shuffling this," and you just go, "Thanks."
Well,
You have to randomize your deck before the game.
Okay.
some people would argue differently.
Yeah.
That is your obligation to do that before the game.
And I take my
Some
prizes by
people-
checking to
Methods-
see if the card ended by
Some
putting it
people will
flat on the
argue the
table.
definition of randomization.
The methods that some people use to randomize their deck might not be appropriate, but it is your obligation to randomize your deck before the round starts. When you're sitting at the table.
Define randomization.
So we're not getting into this.
Let's not go there. Kyle,
And
you do your
it's
prizes the same way?
something
Right
that
to
is
left, and then right to left, and then right to left, right to left?
What?
Do you do your prizes the same way as Pram and
Yes.
Drew? Ben, you too?
Unless I can see a big hollow.
Yeah,
No, I'm just
unless there's a huge bend.
I'm kidding. I don't actually do that. The temptation has been there many times. It was really bad with like the primes and the old hollows from Deoxys. Those were really bad. The primes recently, yeah, where it was just like whoop, and you're like, there's a Typhlosion. That was pretty bad. Where you
I'm surprised
have
they
the internal struggle, huh?
I don't
I said I'm surprised they
understand why
haven't
they
fixed
don't
that by
just
now.
print like. I mean, like I understand why they don't do it for like flashy reasons, but I wish they would just give me a non-hollow version of everything.
Yeah.
Well, no, because then that still doesn't solve the problem. I just wish that they would fix
Sure,
the
it
gun.
does. It solves the problem for me of me going, looking at my prize and going, that's a hollow.
Well, no, but what I'm
no,
saying
they-
is like the people that still want to do it, they will. You know.
Yeah.
They're not
I think
that
the
bad
real
anymore.
issue is just in the natural bend of these cards. Their card stock obviously is not prepared to handle this type of well.
They're not that bad anymore.
Um,
Yeah, it got better.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it used to be real bad. Oh.
But usually when taking my prizes, I take the prize, the sleeve that has Durant in big letters on the back of it.
And how would you be taking a prize?
Oh, it's your Stevie's trick.
all right. Well, I always do the bottom right.
Mischievous.
I will always do the bottom right first. But then for some reason, my brain alternates between doing going like top to or bottom to top, and then bottom top again, or just going the same normal like left right or right left right left
So
right
what you're
left.
telling me is your
I have a
brain
random-
sees the hollow and determines the order.
No.
that way.
I've never actually done. I pride myself on never actually like abusing that ever in my life. But for some reason, my brain every once in a while goes like, "All right, let's go up now," or "All right, let's go left." Can't help it. That's who I am. I don't deal with it. I don't bother. Asking my brain any questions that I don't need the answers to. I just go with it. But yeah, have you guys ever 6-piled in the middle of a game
No.
or any piled?
I've actually gotten upset at people who tried to do that on me.
Yeah, okay, that's what I'm leading towards is like I've seen people multiple times actually 6-pile in the middle of a game, and I mean obviously there's like what a 1-minute rule to shuffle, I believe.
Less than that. It's like 30 seconds.
I almost
Okay,
should I just let these people do it and just take the penalty or take the whatever thing they get? 'Cause, like, honestly, if you're just trying to 6-pile during a game, that's ridiculous.
Well, I think I've done it
I've
once.
seen 10 piles too. I've seen brrrt,
Yeah.
like in the middle of a game, like in just randomly. Doesn't make sense.
You know, like 1 or 2 times, it was like the very end of the game, and I needed to draw 1 card to win. It was probably off like an N or something. I was like, oh yeah, let's get this baby random. And then, you know, I, of course, didn't draw the card and instantly lost the game. Like, literally, the turn was over,
You're wasting
and I lost the
everybody's
game.
time.
You're wasting my time by being there.
Good
I
answer.
actually think you get less than 30 seconds to shuffle. Now that I think about it.
It should be 30. 30 sounds right. Like, if it's less than 30, then that's not fair either, because you do
It's a
want
long time, 30 seconds to shuffle.
That is long. I think
randomizing should be seven riffles. 30 seconds sounds about right.
7 riffles?
Yeah,
That's
Rifles,
what it
whatever?
takes to truly randomize a deck. That's what it is. But
You can do that
as
in
your
under
deck
10.
gets smaller, you can do like 5, I think.
I mean, fine, but I'm not gonna argue, you know, like little things like that. But I am saying that it should be 30 seconds. That sounds about right. Like if it's less than 30
if it
seconds.
Yeah,
gets
it's-
smaller, I want to do it more because I'm just like I can keep track of the card.
Yeah. I mean, that's
If
kind of what I'm
anything-
getting at. Is
if
like,
anything,
if it's like a
I
10
would
card
do it
deck or
more.
whatever, it's kind of easy.
Yeah.
But either way, who cares? I'm just saying. I'm just actually getting towards like the fact that I've seen people 6-pile in the middle of a game, and I'm just
Obviously,
sitting there
that's
like
not
looking at them. Yeah, looking at them, looking at the 6-pile, looking at them. I don't know. I should ask. I should call for a judge more often, I think. But either way, I'm going to talk. I'm the slowest player on earth.
Indeed.
All right. Let's see here. Next question. All right. Dwayne Schoenberg. Darkrai Hammer's next format and Peta situation thoughts. I was wondering if anybody was going to ask about the Peta situations.
PETA.
PETA.
Peta, Peta, potato.
PETA. Nobody says potato. Just like nobody says PETA.
Bro, do you want to eat some potatoes tomorrow? There, you happy?
I wouldn't even know
PETA.
what you said. To be
PETA.
honest, I'd be like, "Excuse me," and then you'd say "potato." I'd be like, "You're dumb."
You guys are ridiculous.
And I forgot the
What's
first
up,
part
man?
of the question
I
because
don't even understand the first question.
Darkrai Hammer's next format. Like, well, that'd
Dark
be any
Rice
good.
Hammers this format.
Hey, man.
This format
I'm
just
asking-
started. I don't understand.
What are the actions of a card or attack? 15 seconds.
And the PETA game.
So yeah, I guess it is only 15 seconds to shuffle.
I got a couple. I think I got like 2 minutes in, and I was just like, "This is ridiculous."
I had fun. I beat that game.
I beat the game in like 15 minutes. 10 probably.
Don't
I
open.
watched that video. That video was sad. I hate
Do
watching
not
those videos.
open treasure chests.
Why?
You said not
No,
open
it's
treasure
only the
chest?
first one. If you, the first one has a sad video, the second
Yeah.
one like, has collectible cards, and then like the third one is like a wallpaper.
Yeah.
PETA thing, you should just ignore it because it's stupid and they just want attention and they got it.
Team Galactic would disagree.
Plasma.
Plasma screen TVs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the PETA thing is kind of silly. I would hold them to, you know, higher standards than that, but
I'm upset that we're talking about this
oh, why?
because it doesn't deserve any discussion. It's just a publicity stunt.
And it worked. Hey,
Yeah,
congratulations.
because
to
you're
them.
making it work.
It's an interesting topic. It's an interesting subject. Like, I played the game. I thought the game was fun. I thought the game was funny.
Kyle,
But
it's
the
okay
subject
to talk
itself is-
about it. We're journalists. ESPN, everything on Sports Center, they say, you know, all this Tebow talk shouldn't be happening. I'm tired of this Tebow talk. But they're talking about it, and they're on the show. So obviously that's what we should be doing as well with similar topics.
Hey,
No, they
Rain
talked
Man's got
about-
it right, man. What can I say? Dude knows. Dude knows his stuff. I'm not gonna argue with him. Next question,
PETA
though.
kills more animals than it saves by a big margin. They're
I do
not.
what Jim Hasselbeck does.
I think we've unleashed the beast.
I don't
This is
know what
not
people
a
do.
topic
I
to
think
be
they make
discussed.
stellar video games, and they should consider moving into that industry.
I agree. Oh man. All right, let's not unleash the beast here. Let's just go to the next question. I don't want to answer any political questions though, so we'll skip that one. All right, Thomas Miller, revive or super rod and how?
Super rod, because sometimes you need to shuffle energy back. Like you don't want to, you don't want to have like doubles of like energy, so you just shuffle them back, and then you can redraw them and attach them.
Neither.
Oh, it has a power that lets you get him back from the discard. What do you need to revive?
Next.
Yeah.
Like the other poke. If you have to Juniper away, like Terrakion or something.
Yeah.
All right, I think this is going to be our last question for the night, boys. So get ready to answer.
Woo!
Make your fingers and let's go. Zachary Bain. Any chance that there could be another best of one? Oh man, it came back. All right, here we go. Any chance that there could be another best of 100 something games between Pooka and Ness? Maybe the sort of thing between the Top Cut members. What happened to Ness's YouTube channel? Hey, well, we are not affiliated with Ness. Ness is a friend of ours, and we're glad to work with him, but we actually are not 100% affiliated with him. So I don't really know what to tell you about his YouTube channel. I'm sure he's...
I do.
All right. Apparently Kyle knows.
Yeah.
Shoot.
He said it was too much work and not worth it. So he stopped.
All right. It is a lot of work. I can't blame the guy. It's a ton of work.
Take some time to make these videos.
The guy who pumps out 15 useless videos a day.
Useless. You're off the team.
Let's review Pokemon rivalries. Darkrai and Cresselia. Yes.
What have you been doing to help out? I'm sure your content is much better.
I just got here. Quality, not quantity.
You know,
All
I'll be
laughing,
honest.
and none of you have made a video.
I made a video. Well, I recorded videos and commentated on
I'll
them.
make a video. I just don't know how. Tell me how to do it. I'll do it right now.
You see all this coughing? I can't make any videos.
To be honest, though, when I clicked on that video, I was totally expecting player rivalries. And then I got
Darkrai and Cresselia. But they work
Groudon
together
and
sometimes, so they're low on the list.
How do you do player rivalries? Like, people don't play each other enough to make that a video.
I know.
I never played Justin Sanchez, and he's my biggest rival.
But the way you like titled it, I was just like expecting player rivalries.
Yeah, I know. When I went back and watched it, I was like, oh boy, this is very misleading.
I mean, you could have Jason versus Yamato.
I know, like,
That's
you had
one.
The opener
They
too. It
played
was
each other once.
You had the opener
Ulap
too.
and
You
Yamato
could've
is the
been,
way to go.
It was just like people versus people, teams versus teams, Darkrai versus Cresselia.
Look, man, the rivalry between Seviper and Zangoose goes back a long way.
Yeah, and then we got Electrode and Fortress, two Pokemon who don't fight each other. They just both know explosions.
To be fair, I did
Hey, you know
watch-
what?
I did
Clearly
watch the
you
entire
watched
thing.
this, so don't make fun of me, alright?
I did.
I watch
the
all of
entire
your videos.
and I was thoroughly entertained. But the fact that the title was so misleading, it was like the only reason I'm just like, oh, that video.
It's good stuff. I didn't even bother watching it because I knew it wasn't going to be about.
Ash and Gary Yoke.
I know, right?
Do any of us have any plans to make a best of anything series anytime soon? Best of 100 is pretty ridiculous.
I guarantee all four of us teamed up on Crim. Best of 100, we don't lose. The objective is to beat Crim 100 times in a row, and we can do it.
Are you kidding?
I disagree. He would statistically T1 one of us, like at some point.
Don't start this.
I don't know, he gives up really quickly in
Because like
games.
in match play, if we're doing a best of, he would go first 99 times. Do you understand like the chances of you just starting lone basic with
I
him
feel
going
like it's an
first
actual challenger.
99 times?
You guys know I'm lazy, so you guys are using this against me.
We'll just
Look,
do
you know,
Champion deck.
the reason I do not want to do this is this would take 100 hours of my life, because each game takes at least 1 hour. Even, I mean, on average, even the games where like there's only 3 turns and he concedes take about 15 minutes. So I mean, you play a real game that can push about 75, 90 minutes. It's just not something I want to
To
do.
be fair, my when I play Crim, my attention span isn't actually completely on the game either. Like I'm
Yeah.
doing other things. Like, I'm making food.
a sandwich.
Yeah, I'm sure he
I'm
is
going to the
too.
bathroom, browsing the internet, listening to music.
Crim is just
Watching
at the
TV.
table in the tank, like, oh my gosh, what
You know,
do I
I'm catching up
do?
on like
Realize that
I'm
this
catching
guy-
up on recorded TV I've missed, things like that.
I'm just taking
Hey,
advantage of
I'm gonna bench my 3 times. No,
I might be like
hold on.
looking at videos Kyle made. Who knows what I'm doing? But I know
Look,
like
man,
10% of my
the technology that's
attention
handed to
is
us,
on
okay?
that game.
Dark Red Cresselia rivalry. I like
If we
it.
have a computer which we can come back to at any time, then why not use it?
And you know,
Wanna
with
be like,
PTCGOs,
you know what? I
no
need-
take back rules for the most part. I mean, like you can only
We
take
saw
back
Puck-
so many things.
You can only wait for like 15 minutes. Why even put my bladder through that situation? If I have to go, I have to go. You can wait. You have tons of things that'll entertain you.
You can't like end your turn and then go,
What
then
like
go.
a awesome TV show that I'm in the middle of watching?
Like the worst situation is your opponent goes catcher or warp point, and then you have to actually respond. You can't just like end your turn, leave, come back, and just assess the new game state.
Look, man,